Hello everyone and welcome back for a new film noir recommendation, and we're in a roll here for year 1944 with the third video dedicated to this film noir challenge. And we have on this day an absolute classic, which is none other than Laura by Otto Preminger. And as I was saying, this month of November I will be doing a challenge in which I will be talking about a film noir movie a day. Laura, pretty much like Double Indemnity, which was the movie featured in my previous video, is really so much more than a genre film. It really transcends any traditional labeling. Delicate, elegant, exquisite, wonderfully written, scored, filmed and acted, this movie encapsulates what it means being classic and eternal. I could be here literally all day finding adjectives to describe this magnificent movie, but for your sake, for my sake, I'll just go straight ahead and let's talk about Laura. I shall never forget the weekend Laura died. Few opening lines are as iconic and as fascinating as the one in Laura. Perhaps it's a tie between Laura and Rebecca, but in any case, this is one of the best remembered opening lines in classic movies. From the get-go with this movie, we are captivated by this almost too good to be true Laura Hunt, played wonderfully by Gene Tierney.
You have rarely met a girl like Laura. Few women have been so beautiful, so exotic, so dangerous to know.
Otto Preminger, who also directed noir gems such as Fallen Angel or Angel Face, created an exquisite atmosphere for this movie. In my opinion, Laura is one example of why cinema was invented in the first place. The combination of words, music, images, angles, frames has seldom been more justified than for this movie. With a remarkable plethora of characters, which we will discuss later, Laura has an extraordinary collection of snarky, ironic, and pretty epic dialogue, so elegantly delivered by Waldo Lydecker, played by Clifton Webb, who was at the time a well-known stage actor but with few experience in movies, and it was a personal decision from Preminger to really bet on this actor to play a character that eventually became quite iconic for him. And I think that also in a way he continued to portray versions of Waldo Lydecker for the remainder of his career. As I read, Clifton Webb was very nervous about acting in movies. Again, I think he had only participated before in a few silent films, and it was in fact Dana Andrews, who plays Lieutenant Mark McPherson, who helped him be more at ease with the whole process of acting in a movie. I have a confession to make because Dana Andrews is one of my favorite actors. He appeared, aside from Laura or the amazing The Best Years of Our Lives, in many film noirs and also many B movies, and I think he's an actor that gets seldom any recognition or any praise or any love. So this video is dedicated to all Dana Andrews fans out there. Obviously, aside from Gene Tierney, Vincent Price, who also has a stellar supporting role in this movie, and lastly Judith Anderson, whom we love, a woman that we already discussed when we talked about Rebecca. So this video goes to fans of all these actors with a particular emphasis on Dana Andrews. All these actors and their characters are bonded by their relationships with Laura Hunt, who at the beginning of the movie is supposedly found dead in her apartment, and as Lieutenant Mark McPherson, again Dana Andrews, assigned to the case, proceeds with the investigation and hears the testimony of all those who knew her, he becomes, and so do we, completely fascinated with that woman, to the point where he quite inevitably falls in love with her. Will that interfere with the investigation? Will he be able to find the killer? Who is really Laura Hunt? All these questions and so much more are answered in this movie. As I was saying in the beginning, there's so much more about this movie than just a genre film. There are no gangsters in Laura. There is not much violence in it, but still it is quite a paradigmatic example of film noir. Aside from that, this movie is at times a melodrama. There is a romantic twist to the story too. So there are so many elements that coincide in this movie. But for the purposes of these videos, it certainly has the flair, the look and feel of a film noir. Plus, it was released in 1944, and as we have established in previous videos, it was a year in which the genre kind of took off. So many more adaptations of crime fiction were brought to the screen. The success of Laura is due in many senses to the conviction, to the determination of its producer and director Otto Preminger, who fought for his vision. And with this movie, he launched his career as a director, and he also launched the career of Clifton Webb. He helped launch also the careers of Dana Andrews and solidify Gene Tierney's status. Laura, though, started pretty much in the beginning as a B production from 20th Century Fox, but even in those initial stages there seemed to be something magical about it, despite all the setbacks that took place. Preminger, who had a not so good relationship with Daryl Zanuck, head of 20th Century Fox, was appointed the producer of Laura. Preminger truly believed in the potential of the story by Vera Kaspari, who's the writer of Ring Twice for Laura, published in the magazine Collier's, and again the story that was turned into a screenplay for this movie. 5 different screenwriters were involved in turning again that story into a screenplay. So there were many difficulties involved in the process of making Laura. Also, as I was saying, Preminger was initially only the producer of Laura, and he also had great difficulty in finding a director who would accept this project, because many declined it, and eventually it was Ruben Mamoulian who became the appointed director, but also due to discrepancies with Preminger, who had again a quite specific vision for this film, he was ultimately fired, and Zanuck just gave the role of the director to Preminger, and it proved out to be a very wise decision. Also, initially the role of Laura was offered to Hedy Lamarr, as I've read, and she also declined it. So there seemed to be so much difficulty for a project that no one really seemed, aside from Preminger, seemed to believe in. So it's also a testament to the value of believing in one's vision. Another element of success for this movie is also the emblematic score by David Raksin. It is so beautiful. It fits so perfectly the mood of the movie, and it's one of the best remembered and loved classic film scores of all time. Cinematographer Joseph Lachelle was also pretty much responsible for the fantastic atmosphere of this movie. He captured in glorious black and white the amazing beauty of Gene Tierney, and particularly the scene in which there's an interrogation going on. It is quite outstanding, I'd say, and it is no wonder, because don't kid yourself, you'll seldom see anything as beautiful as Laura. I will never be able to forget the little pinball that Andrews has in order to calm his nerves. I shall never forget lines like, "I don't use a pen, I write with a goose quill dipped in venom." I mean, is there any more for me to say? All Alright, that's all I have for you for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you love Laura as much as I do. Let me know in the comments down below what's your favorite moment of the movie, who's your favorite character if you have one, and as always, stay safe, take care. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sharing the love for classic movies, for sharing the love for film noir, for joining me for this challenge, and see you soon in my next video.